What's going on, YouTube? Today, I want to talk about, or rather, I want to do the mid-season review for the new television show by the name of Grandfather, starring John Stamos as Jimmy Martino and Josh Peck as his son Gerald. Now, the story is pretty much straightforward. An older gentleman is a bachelor. He's a single bachelor. He's a restaurateur. One day, his son, a man claiming to be his son, shows up in his restaurant. Man that he's never seen before tells him that he is, in fact, his son. And not only is he his son, but he has a grandchild, a young daughter named Edith. And hijinks ensue. Honestly, I really think that this is one of Fox's better new shows. It's actually, I think it would be my second favorite show in the new Fox lineup. My first being Minority Report. It's a decent show that has decent themes, has pretty good writing. It's mainly about a man and his vanity and not wanting to come to terms with his age, not wanting to mature, not being a family man and wanting to be somewhat of a selfish guy. But honestly, I think that John Stamos's character, is acts very reasonably considering the circumstances. And I think that the people in his life, his son, the mother of his child, I feel like they are really, more of a villain than he is, because he had a child with a woman years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and she took it upon herself to not tell him. She took it upon herself to not tell him because she just believed that he wouldn't be a decent father for whatever reason. And they did a whole episode about that. And in the end, he kind of fessed up to the fact that she made the right decision. But in reality, a woman doesn't have any right to keep that sort of information away from a man, to not at least involve a man in the decision making process. Now, if you want to have a baby and he doesn't want to have a baby, he wants you to terminate it, you want him to keep he wants you to terminate it and you want to keep it, and you absolve him of all responsibility. Hey, that's your business. Do what you want to do. But trying to paint somebody as a villain when they didn't even have the opportunity to prove themselves, I think is really unfair, of her character, and I think is unfair in life in general. And as we saw in the show, the character Jimmy hasn't made any kind of massive changes in his character in the last 30 years. That's kind of what the show is about. The show is about a man who is supposedly a man child because he runs his own business and is single and is a lady killer. So he hasn't made any massive changes. So anything and any kind of characteristics that he's showing now, he would have shown back then. And he really does the best job that you could expect of him to be a decent father and to be a decent grandfather. So her having this presumption of him in the context of the show, was really invalid because the man hasn't changed dramatically in 30 years. And as soon as he knew he had this responsibility, he's stepping up and doing the best he knows how to do. Now you got other characters in the show. You got Christina Milian, who plays Vanessa, Gerald's baby mama. Gerald's baby mama technically, but his friend in the show. They're friends that happen to sleep together one time and have a child together. And he has a crush on the woman that he had sex with. And this woman that he had sex with has no interest in him. Yeah. Well, Christina Milian is, she's a 10. She's a 10. She's a beautiful woman. And this is a decent role for her. She kind of plays like a crazy, not a crazy in a ghetto way, but just she's a bit of a slacker with a plan in this new generation. She's kind of like me. She can't really find any legitimate way to make money, but she has a plan for how she's going to dominate on YouTube and have a whole makeup series that takes people by storm. And when Gerald's mom, Sarah, finds out that this woman isn't just some airhead with a cute face that Gerald's infatuated with, but she's a woman that really cares about protecting her child and really has some kind of plan for how she's going to support herself in life. She gains another level of respect for it. Now they also have Kelly Jen Ricci, I think her name is, who plays Annalise, the lesbian assistant. And she says that being a lesbian, now she's black, by the way, if you didn't know, being a lesbian is a job requirement in order to work with Jimmy. Now, I don't know if she's saying this because the Jimmy character is so unprofessional that he cannot work with any woman without hitting on her, which in 2015, when this show came out, would make him a huge target for sexual harassment lawsuits if he couldn't be professional enough to have any kind of female employees. And if all the female employees had to be gay, then he would have some kind of a discrimination lawsuit. So I don't know why that was mentioned, either to say that either Jimmy is so unprofessional that he can't keep himself from trying to sleep with the woman, which is bad, or if he is so irresistible to women that if she wasn't gay, she would be all over him, which is weird because women have a variety of taste in men. Now, I was interested in was this chick, Kelly Jen Ricci, gay in real life? Because a lot of black folks, look at Empire and they see a whole lot of gayness in that show. And another show that I'm going to review later, Rosewood, they have a lesbian couple in that show. And then you got the gay girl in this show. And then you got How to Get Away with Murder. Annalise is bisexual in that show. So there's a lot of representation of the gay lifestyle in television. Some would say that it's even being forced on people when it has nothing to do with the storyline. So I was curious to see if this woman was actually gay in real life, or if this was just a character that they were getting her to play. Now, on Ellen.com, can't make that up, she jokes in the, this is a quote from Ellen.com. She jokes in the pilot that it's a job requirement that she's a lesbian because Jimmy is also a womanizer who can't help himself around a pretty lady. Okay, so my initial assessment was he couldn't help himself around a pretty lady. So she's presuming that she's pretty and he can't help himself around a pretty lady. So that makes him a target for a hell of a lot of lawsuits. She also said when Ellen asked, or whoever was interviewing this woman for Ellen.com, she said she didn't want to be the sassy black character. I didn't want to be the snaps that girl because we've seen that a million times. So she said she didn't want to be the sassy black stereotype character. But I guess she's okay with being this deadpan stereotypical gay character. It's like you were okay with, you didn't want to be the stereotypical black woman character because of whatever reason, but you're okay with being a stereotypical gay character. I don't quite understand the logic. I mean, there's either it adds something to the story or it doesn't. There's a place for the neck rolling black woman, and there's a place for the gay black woman. There's a place for all kinds of black women in television and movies. And as much as they are pushing certain types of characters in shows without even writing interesting stories for them, just to pander to a particular audience, just to get eyeballs, just to hit target demographics. It's like, yeah, this is a comedy show, but we don't need to make this funny. We just want to get as many people as we can to watch it. So we're just going to try to represent as many people as we can. We're not going to try to write good for this character because the character doesn't do much. I mean, so far. Now, they asked her, would she be interested in having like full-blown gay relationships, and she kind of played it off. If you read the whole interview, which is on, just look her up. Just look up Kelly Jenrette, Jenrette. Just look up the interview, and you'll see that she's kind of playing it off. She kind of knows that she's just hitting the lick, because this is the woman who was in a Sears, I think it was a Sears commercial. She's kind of playing it off because she's like, well, I'm interested in taking the role as far as the role goes. It's a written interview. She's not speaking, so you can't see facial expressions or anything. I'm interested in taking the role as far as it goes. I'm interested in her character, being explored fully, and if she has a man relationship or a female relationship. It's like she's really playing that off. So she kind of knows what time it is at Fox and on TV in general, and she just trying to get her money. So I don't even know if I feel some kind of way about her playing that character. I don't even know. But the last thing they asked her in the interview, "Are you prepared to have an onslaught of new lesbian fans?" And this is a direct quote. "Yes, that is going to be interesting because I myself am not a lesbian, so it's going to be interesting. Support is good." Now that didn't sound like the typical shit. She's like, "Bitch, I'm trying to make this money however I can make it. Don't put me in that. I'm politically correct. Just give me my check so I can go home. I just want to go home. Hopefully they don't make me kiss a woman on television. My parents gonna be watching this shit. Um, I ain't signed up for all this shit. Just let me do my thing." But anyway, that's just kind of my analysis of the first 5 episodes of Grandfathered. I think it's a show that's, like I said, is probably the second best new show on Fox. It's better than The Grinder to me personally because it's more realistic than The Grinder. It deals with more realistic themes than The Grinder. And I'm going to talk about The Grinder as well. But, they even went so far, and it was funny, but they even went so far to have an episode, and I think this was the last episode I saw before the current one. Well, they even had an episode where Gerald and Jimmy were playing a gay couple to get Gerald's daughter and Jimmy's granddaughter into a special school. So he had to play his son's boyfriend because the school was so favorable to a gay couple that they were thirsty to put them in this specialized private pre-elementary school, like a school for 3-year-olds. So I think in a lot of instances, these shows, while they try to hit these marks and while they try to hit their demographics, in a lot of these shows, just like in SNL, which I'm going to be talking about in another video, they try to hit these marks and they try to hit these demographics, but in a lot of cases, they're telling on themselves. They're doing things to hit demographics, but they're really like laying down some truth on what's going on in society today. Now, I'm not judging anybody's lifestyle. I'm just observing it because I watch a lot of television. I listen to a lot of radio. I'm a very high consumer of media. And I notice this stuff. This stuff does not go unnoticed by me, how much the television and the radio and the news is trying to program the way you think, instead of just giving you information and letting you make up your own mind on how you feel about a particular subject. But again, I think Grandfather is decent. It has decent jokes. It has very plausible storylines. Everything in it is tight. Everything in it is believable. Is well paced. I think the Gerald character is a highly intelligent character that is going to do something with his life, and I think something that has to be a little development on how he can be so intelligent, so insightful, have so much ingenuity, but be so far behind in life. I think that needs to be explored. Like, what is it about his upbringing that would make him such a failure at such a late point in life? Why is he so afraid to tell a woman that he slept with, that he's into her? Christina Milian's character needs to be explored further, and what's her deal. There needs to be some more character development, but I like where I am right now in episode 5, and I hope this show picks up for a second season so I can continue to get to know these characters and see what the whole thing is about. Anyway, let me know what you thought. Was I off on my assessment? that you agree or disagree with my opinions on the midway point of the first season of Grandfathered. Is this a show that you like? Um, Rate the video, like it, dislike it, subscribe to my channel. Let me know if there's any other shows that you want me to talk about. Let me know if there's anything in the media that you want me to talk about. Help me start a conversation. Help me grow my channel. You know, I want this to be a two-way street. I want to build a bridge of communication between me and the people who watch my channel. Um, that's all I got to say. I will see you in the next video.